Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is almost upon us. We're just a week out from release, which seems like the perfect time to sit back, relax, and frantically recap the story of Remake and Crisis Core in around 5 minutes or less. Remake, after all, dropped all the way back in 2020, and 4 years is a long old time to keep all those juicy story details in your brain, especially since some parts have been significantly tweaked and changed from the original to fit the Remake saga's new and rejuvenated story. And since a playthrough takes a good 30 odd hours to complete, we're going on a whistle-stop tour of Midgar and all the major events prior to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so you can go into your playthrough fully caught up. Now it goes without saying really quickly, there's obviously going to be spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Crisis Core here, so if you somehow accidentally click this video, this is your final warning. Still here? Let's go. Midgar, a city-sized testament to the oppressive nature of capitalist greed. Sat on a large steel plate, it blocks the sun to the slums below, leaving those who can't afford to live topside to dwell in sunless squalor. It's a cheery little town. Final Fantasy VII Remake starts with a bang, literally. As a train pulls into the station of a Mako reactor, the guards inspect it before being ambushed by members of Avalanche, an eco-terrorist group aiming to dismantle the hulking reactors that the Shinra Electric Power Company have stationed. As they siphon Mako energy, the very lifeblood of the planet, with reckless abandon, Shinra only has money and control on the mind. Avalanche members Jesse, Biggs, Wedge, and their leader Barrett are joined by Cloud Strife, a former soldier, or Shinra enforcer, who has become disillusioned with Shinra and, for a price, is offering his assistance in bringing down the Mako reactor. Fights against various waves of enemies ensue, and the plan is inherently a success. However, the destruction, revealed to have been further exacerbated by President Shinra himself, led to a huge amount of damage, leading to some very bad press, and thus making Avalanche public enemy number 1. During the story, Cloud grapples with memories and hallucinations of Sephiroth, a former soldier of legend, and perhaps one of the most notorious villains in modern gaming. His past is intrinsically tied with Cloud's, but at this stage, we have yet to learn to what extent their fates are intertwined. As Cloud, his childhood friend Tifa, Barrett, and the rest of Avalanche continue with their mission, Cloud is separated from the group and meets Aerith in an abandoned church. Aerith, we later learn, is the last descendant of the Cetra, an ancient race that knows the location of a promised land filled to bursting with Mako, something Shinra will literally burn the world down for. After defending Aerith from an assault and reuniting with Tifa following a creepy encounter with Don Corneo, the trio learns that Avalanche and Barrett are taking on Shinra as they go full-blown evil corporation and attempt to collapse the plate and destroy the slums. The team eventually battle their way to the upper echelons of Shinra to confront the president, along the way meeting Red 13. As they make it all the way to the top, it is ultimately for naught, as the president is killed by Sephiroth and control of Shinra is assumed by his devious son, Rufus. Ominous. As the story reaches its crescendo, Cloud takes on Sephiroth in a balls-to-the-wall fight, although Sephiroth is more focused on trying to seduce Cloud over to his side. After an epic encounter, there's no final desperate victory. In fact, ultimately, Cloud is unable to defeat the devious soldier, but Sephiroth spares him, and the team look out onto the world of Gaia for the next part of their journey. And roll credits. Bloody hell, that was quick, wasn't it? Plenty more happens in the 30 odd hours you'd put into a standard playthrough, including, but not limited to, Zack Fair, another soldier, makes his way to Midgar, and in the intermission expansion of Remake, Yuffie Kizaragi, after an ordeal of her own, resolves to find a team that will help her defeat Shinra. That's called foreshadowing, folks. And so we watch as Final Fantasy VII Remake disappears into the rearview mirror, and we take a short detour onto Crisis Core. Crisis Core serves as a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, greatly expanding on the Nibelheim incident that led to Sephiroth's descent into evil, with the player taking control of Zack Fair instead of Cloud. Taking place during the Wutai War, Zack and his mentor Angeal are sent to reinforce Shinra's forces. Eventually, Angeal disappears and Zack is tasked with finding him, as well as Genesis, another missing soldier, and the scientist Hollander. After learning they've become deserters to the war effort, Zack is sent to kill them, along with Sephiroth. Eventually, Zack and Sephiroth discover that the deserters are an attempt by Hollander to fuse Jenova's cells with the soldiers to create truly super soldiers. Along the way, Zack also meets Aerith, in similar circumstances to Cloud's encounter with her later down the line, although his time spent with her is much shorter than Cloud's. Eventually, Zack meets Cloud, a standard soldier, and is able to defeat Angeal and Genesis, who were using Hollander in an attempt to return to normal. As he lies dying, Angeal gives Zack the Buster Sword. With the threat seemingly quelled for now, Zack travels with Sephiroth and Cloud to Nibelheim to investigate the leaking Mako reactor in the area, eventually leading to the Nibelheim incident and Sephiroth's supposed death. After which, we discover years later that he and Cloud were experimented on by the vile Professor Hojo. As the story draws to a close, Shinra attempts to kill Zack, along with Genesis and Hollander, and he barely manages to defeat them and escape. Having successfully beaten the odds but mortally wounded, as well as carrying a Marco-poisoned Cloud, Zack succumbs, is taken by the Lifestream, and bequeaths the Buster Sword to Cloud, who finally makes it to Midgar and begins his journey towards the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake proper. 2 games worth of story in just under 5 minutes. Not bad going. And now you should be fully caught up on where our merry band of outlaws are at before you go diving into Final Fantasy Rebirth. And trust us, it's not a story you're going to want to miss out on. Thanks for watching. Chuck this. I know we skipped a lot, but honest to God, this video could have been hours long if we'd really tried. Give it a like if you enjoyed it and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more like this. We've got a lot of Final Fantasy VII guides coming up once the game drops, so stay tuned to GG Recon. And while you're here anyway, check out this video where we tell you exactly why you need to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.